Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. It has been a minute. I have been away water skiing, visiting family, just doing fun stuff like that. And so now I'm back and time to get back into the swing of things. So I have not been to the grocery store in probably a month or more. And we have stuff, you know, we're working off of our food storage and all the stuff that we have in our house. So that is one really cool benefit of bulk buying, is that everything just kind of stays consistent when you have your own food supply in your house. Yesterday when we were traveling back, there was a sweet elderly man on the side of the highway in the 105-degree weather selling his vegetables and fruit. And I felt just like I had to stop. So we stopped and got probably 8 pounds of homegrown tomatoes and 2 watermelons that are about medium size, but the rind is like super thin. So there's a lot of watermelon in there. We opened one last night and it's really good. So we got a little bit of fresh produce to kind of get us going until I get back into the swing. I haven't been in my garden in a couple of weeks. I've had someone taking care of it and I'm like so ready to get in there and do some stuff. So I'm gonna give y'all a garden update and just kind of show you what's going on. So we'll see where the video takes us. Kind of vlog style, I guess. Okay, so this is how things look. We've got things a little bit differently now. I used to have all of those black totes here, and I moved them over there, I'll show you in a minute, out of the way because I just didn't like the way that they looked. So you can see everything is super wet. So we have the beds irrigated with drip irrigation lines that come off of our Rise Up sprinklers, but we still have one Rise Up sprinkler on that station that sprays, and it sprays a lot, so it gets really wet. Okay, so the herbs are still doing really, really awesome. Basil is huge. Holy basil is really huge. I have come to love using this in my tea every day. It's so good. It adds a really good flavor. So that seems to do well in the heat, and so does the regular basil. The sage plants also seem to do really well in the heat. They just feel like they grow really slow. This sucker is barely hanging on, but we're still trying to grow dill. I'm gonna replant soon for fall. I have some mint there, kind of trying to help work with some ant problems I'm having, and I'll show you that in a minute. So over here you can see, this happened by accident, but oh, huge spider. Okay, what kind of spider is it? Oh, it looks like a wolf spider. I'm not gonna mess with that. We're gonna leave him there. Anyway, this calendula is growing under this okra tree and it's doing really good because it has all the shade. So I was talking about that calendula back there. It's doing really good under this okra tree because it's getting a lot of shade from the heat. So I am always gonna do that now. I'm gonna plant my calendula around my okra because it seems to like it. So I've been having problems with ants on my okra, and so last night I came through and put diatomaceous earth around the base of the plants, trying to avoid getting it on the plant just because of bees, because it's not good for bees. So I don't see any crawling on there this morning, so that's a good thing. This okra plant is suffering from aphids, but I think we're on the mend. You can see these leaves are curled under. There's still some under there, but I've been spraying them off every day, picking them off by hand. Oh, and I have mealybugs. There's a mealybug. So I think we're gonna recover. It looks like I have an okra ready to pick. So that's cool. I love the color of these okra. The cucumbers are all but gone. I'm just kind of debating in my brain if I want to continue trying to nurse these things. It's like I got 2 right there. So I'm going to continue to nurse them. I've canned probably 6 pints of cucumbers, which I really wanted to do more, but I was gone for a couple of weeks during growing season, and that's where I really messed up with getting a lot canned. But I think the heat is just way too much for these plants. So I think it might be time to pull, but still deciding. And here are the purple whole peas. These are also battling some aphids. So I sprayed with neem oil last night. I'm gonna spray off any that I see this morning. And then I also came through with the diatomaceous earth and tried to work with the ants because there's been a lot of ants around these as well. And I did get a lot on the leaves, which I really try not to do, but I don't really see bees around these plants too much, so I'm not super worried about that. This is okra that I actually planted not too long ago, so it wasn't planted at the same time as my really big one. So I'll have kind of a scattered harvest, I guess. And then I just had extra space, so I planted some of the purple whole peas, and I actually propagated this tomato myself, and it's loving this spot because I think it's getting a lot of nitrogen from these plants, and it's really healthy so far. So the goal is just to get it going and strong, and so that by fall I'm actually able to harvest, and then hopefully by fall I'll probably be done with these and I'll pull these out. So that is pretty much all of it, and I will update you again soon. It's toddler nap time. We've had a busy morning, swimming, playing outside, all that fun stuff. So that means it's time for mom to work. So I am going to take you along for a little bit of what I'm working on today. I went out to the garden and picked a bunch of stuff that I felt like needed to be picked, and I'm gonna go through and go ahead and process it. So let me show you what I got. So I mainly picked herbs today. I just had, my herb bushes were so big and bushy, it just was time to pick and tell them to make more. So I picked sage, I picked basil, and I picked holy basil. So for whatever reason, I am severely overthinking how I want to dehydrate these. I'd really like to start air drying my herbs. The thing is I just don't feel like I have a good place to do that yet, and I need to do some more research on that before I feel confident doing that. So I do have a dehumidifier, I have some extra fans. I could probably set up an area to make sure that it's not too humid, to make sure you have air circulation, all that stuff, but I just want to do my research before I do that. So I'm gonna use my dehydrator. I should have pretty much a full load of herbs to dry today. So I feel a little bit better about loading it up, or running it when it's totally full. So I'm gonna get the herbs going, and then so unfortunately these tomatoes are just like spoiling really fast, which is really sad to me. So I don't wanna waste them. I'm gonna have to cut out the bad spots, but I'm gonna try to dehydrate these tomatoes and also get them put away by the end of the day. So the herbs usually only take a few hours. So then before I go to bed tonight, I think I'll start a load of dehydrating tomatoes. The dehydrator is loaded down, so all the trays are full. I only have 6 trays. I did 3 trays of basil, 1 tray of holy basil, 1 tray of holy basil flowers, because I think they're gonna take a different, I don't know, they may just dry a little bit differently, so I'm experimenting. And then the top is sage, and so what I did was I just wrote it to the side, because you think you'll remember, and then life and kids, and then you may not. So it's a good idea to write it down, because a lot of times when things get dry, they end up looking the same, especially the different types of basil can get a little confusing. So I'm gonna get this going. It should be done by tonight, and then hopefully I will get those tomatoes going later on. So I am just gonna set it with what my dehydrator says, which is 100. It's about right there. And go. So I have been slowly dehydrating throughout the summer, just like little bits. This is all I have so far of holy basil. So guys, it takes so much to get a lot. So anyway, hopefully this will look a little more full after today. I got these on Amazon. I'm gonna put these in my home dried herb jars so that we just, another layer of protection from moisture. So also believe that you can reuse these. So they kind of seem pricey, but you can reuse them, like you just reactivate them. So cool beans. Oh yes, these are leftover different flowers from the basil. which, is that a bug? No, okay. Which you can also dry and use. I'm gonna hang dry these just to experiment with hang drying. I read a couple of different websites that said hang drying is really pretty, but it doesn't yield consistent results. So I don't know. That's what I always envisioned doing, was the hang drying method, but it seems like, I don't know, I'm not getting really consistent information on it. So if you know anything about drying herbs, preserving herbs, and you have a good resource, please let me know, because I'm really interested in just feeling more confident with what I do. Okay, I just decided to hang my sad little bushel of basil flowers in our closet and just kind of see what happens. I've dried things in here before because our closet is actually really big, and we have a dehumidifier in here, and I can monitor the humidity. So I'm thinking we have like a shelving unit built in that I'm going to maybe go ahead and like turn it into partially an area to cure and dry stuff. So we'll see, but I definitely want an area to do this stuff. I just don't know where to do it because I feel like there's no good area. Or I could maybe set something up in our extra bedroom. While I'm in here, I remembered that I needed to check our bug out bags, and I figured I would just include that super quickly on this video. So this isn't going to be like a how you make a bug out bag. It's more just like, hey, have you ever thought about having a bug out bag? Do you know what a bug out bag is? And maybe you should consider having one. So basically, there could be an emergency situation. Maybe it's a fire that is in your neighborhood or in your area and you have to evacuate very quickly. Are your things in order to where you could grab the things that you would need to get by for a few days before you could come back? We each have a bug out bag. They're pretty much the same, other than my husband's bug out bag has like an intense medic bag because he is a lot more trained with that, so he has the medic bag. But if I were evacuating without him, I know in my head that I have to grab this because I don't have the stuff in my bag that he has. So I would just grab it. And I know that because I do this all the time. I'm the one that updates the bags. Basically, just what you need to survive. So we have, these are Life straw water bottles. We also have extra Life straws in here. Like this right here is baby wipes. I keep cloth diapers in here. So got the cloth diapers. I have little bags labeled hygiene. So I have like toothbrushes, toothpaste, cast iron soap, just all that kind of stuff. Whatever you think you need is what you put in there. This is food tools and also matches, tools and gear, assorted things like chargers, headlamps, all that stuff. I keep diaper cream in mine. There's food, so I got some of these chicken and tuna packs, and they're gonna expire next year. So I probably need to rotate these out and like just kind of re-rotate that. What's this? Health. So just different like first aid supplies. So I have a mini first aid kit, but my husband has like a full-on big kit. So anyway, I didn't want to like spend a whole lot of time explaining this, but more or less, like, I'm just encouraging you to think about this as something you think is important and you should maybe get it together. We have our important documents kept separately in a fire waterproof area so that, you know, it's safe from those things, but we know where it is and we could get all of this stuff in under a couple of minutes and be gone. So just think about that for your family and stay prepared. Here we have the tomatoes. I went ahead and got them prepped for the dehydrator because doing stuff like this that's a little more intense is really hard to do with the toddler. So he's still napping, so I went ahead, blanched, got all the skin off the tomatoes, and sliced them for the dehydrator. I tried to keep them as even and similar cut as possible. There were a lot of bad spots I had to work around. And then any of those kind of end pieces that they don't slice well or whatever, I just chopped up, and I'm gonna use those tonight or tomorrow with our dinner. So we're gonna have those fresh. And then tonight when the herbs are done, these will go in, they'll process overnight, and they should be good by the morning. All right, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here before my toddler gets up. We're gonna, spend time together this afternoon, get dinner cooked, all the rest of the home things that I have to do. But I wanted to come on and just take a moment to encourage you if you are trying to build up your home, if you're trying to acquire skills that you have not had or you haven't used in a long time. It's hard, it takes time, and you have to be gracious with yourself and just persistent day to day in trying. And perfect example was me dealing with those herbs. I was like paralyzed that I would do it wrong, and so I just wasn't doing it. But there's gonna be some mistakes along the way. We really just can't let that stop us. Just wanted to end with an encouraging note for you, and I hope that you feel inspired and encouraged. You can do this. We're all in it together. So let us all know in the comments what skills you're working on, and let's just share and go along together in this journey. See y'all in the next video.